Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about an interesting one. Well, they're all interesting, but I like this one. This article came out, says, they force people to be renters forever. Would-be homeowners are sharing the surprising reasons why they're giving up on their house hunt in 2024. So basically, this whole thing is samples. People, they ask people, why are you giving up, buying a home?
Mm-hmm.
And we got 25 people that responded in this article. And I think it would be really interesting to see perspective, because this is people from all over the country. It's not just Florida.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. This is, yeah, that'd be cool.
So we'll read them and then see exactly what
People are saying.
what people are saying. And maybe we agree with what they're saying. Maybe we disagree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
Who knows? But in the meantime, do me a favor. If you guys like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It really, really helps the channel. Okay, Bill. You want me to do the first one?
Yeah, because you've got number one in your hand.
I know, but there's 25 of them here. We can't go through the whole 25. Okay. This one person is saying, we've been trying to buy a home since 2020. At this point, we just refuse to pay outrageous prices with horrible interest rates. Motorcycles. And I cannot stress enough the crap. Most homes available in our area are new builds. Everything is plywood, staples, glues, and plastic. Everything. The entire house is basically held together by glue in various formats. I'm not paying over $400,000 for, at best, $50,000 worth of product. And definitely not paying a 7% interest rate. Okay, I disagree with a lot of stuff on this one.
Yeah, that's...
Okay. So basically, the first thing I disagree with is they're not built like that. Like in Florida, we use a lot of cement blocks because, depending on the area it's being built. Some of them are wood,
Right.
but some of them are block, but they're built to code. So newer houses technically are built better than older houses. I know people say, hey, they don't build them like they used to.
Right.
But
There's a caveat to that.
But there's a caveat to
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
okay?
'cause everybody goes, oh, you don't see these 50, 60, 100-year-old houses getting blown down, so on and so forth. Well, then you're talking old growth wood versus new growth wood, and you're getting crazy with dimensional lumber, non-dimensional lumber.
And the other reason I'm disagreeing with this, they're saying I'm not paying $400,000 or $50,000 worth of product.
Land and just a lot
land,
more to it.
labor,
Yeah.
just there's a lot more to it. So I'm not even gonna
Right.
get into that, and I'm definitely not gonna pay 7% interest rate. Well, 7% interest rate used to be a great interest rate. That's not that long ago.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents on that one. Go ahead, read the next one.
All right.
Hey, do me a favor, consider subscribing, unless I already asked you guys that.
I think you did, but that's okay.
All right.
It can't hurt. Come on, subscribe. Well, interest rates and prices have skyrocketed. My income has barely changed. I already work 2 jobs to pay off student debt and medical bills and afford my current rent. If I bought a house, it would be a poo hole for what I can afford, with no way to afford to fix it up and make it livable. I kind of agree with that.
Right. I mean, prices of the houses went up faster
Right.
than people's incomes.
Yep. So we've definitely rose, what, 50 some odd percent. Wages didn't go up 50%. I wish they did, but they didn't.
Does it say a name on that one?
It's somebody, Courtney from Nebraska.
Okay.
So
Courtney from Nebraska, so I agree with her.
yeah, I agree with that 100%. That it's going to be tough, and if you do, you're gonna what's out there right now potentially could just be a fixer-upper, and that does take money. We just had that conversation today at a listing we saw. So
All right,
I agree.
How about this one? Because of HOAs, screw HOAs. Now they exist in many neighborhoods that you can't just opt out of them and plays a huge factor. They have the ability to absolutely be, I won't even say that on video, for no other reason than tripping on their thirst amount of power. Those bored jerks have ever had. Anonymous from 30, California. I agree. I got a letter from the HOA today. You were over at my house. I got a letter, and they didn't like the numbers on my mailbox. So they sent me a letter saying, hey, paint your mailbox. So I painted it and I put brand new numbers on it. And then they sent me another letter saying, hey, we don't like the numbers. You need to buy the numbers from us, from our people.
Right.
So I kind of...
Moneymaker.
Yeah, it's a moneymaker. So what's wrong with my numbers?
Yeah, and further than that, I mean, I get it. HOA boards, I've lived in a neighborhood where the HOA board was less than understanding, and people have to remember it's the HOA when they get on the board. It's homeowners association. You're the homeowners board made up of homeowners. At the end of the day, they're still your neighbors. So don't cast stones sometimes in a glass house. And I get it, you know, that's one of the reasons it forced me to get on the board. You know, we needed some rational thinking with some people that were just, we had, as an example, we had when this board took over and the Covenants and Restrictions Committee got together as subcommittee, they went over, they wrote up a letter on a friend of mine's house about the cable line, you know, on the side of their house. And in my neighborhood at the time, you weren't allowed to have cable lines showing exterior, right? So now they built their house because this was a planned community. This is 10 years in, they get this letter, and they had a photo where they were getting their keys out in front of their house and the cable line was there. The builder put it there. And so they had to fight the HOA on that. And there was just, but this was like, there were so many houses like that. Another one was a trailer, a small trailer. Just, I get it. People don't want the yard to get junked up and things like that.
Yeah, but HOAs
like,
go to, I'm not a fan
it's
of,
to the roof.
I'm not a fan of HOAs at all. You got the next one?
All right, so this might be interesting. So this is Mark 36, Texas. I honestly have a thing about ownership in general. The idea that people need to own anything seems weird, as it's a very colonial way of thinking. The idea of homeownership also seems like a lie to oneself about how much importance we give ourselves. Once we're gone, we don't own anything, so what's the point of investing all the money in a home or buying land when it's not really going to be mine to begin with? Now, I prefer to rent. At least then I know the lease, like my time in this world, is finite.
I don't agree with that. And that one I don't agree with. Does it say where he's from?
Texas.
Texas. I don't agree with that one. I think owning a home gives you some kind of satisfaction.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? I think part of the American dream, I think, maybe our people will argue this part, but I think it is home ownership.
Right, because we did that one video that was talking about the new American dream and things like that. So, you know, things are changing, times are changing, but no, I think home ownership is important, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. So
yeah, but I don't agree with that one.
Yeah,
you guys tell us what you think. Okay, so here's one. My bank of 20 plus years decided that despite them offering me outrageous credit cards every year, no matter how often I told them to stop, I was a bad risk for a mortgage due to being older. The housing market is so screwed anyways that if I were to find something now that I could afford, it would be a blank hole. So, all right, so basically this. Okay, I know banks, okay, can't discriminate on age.
No, they cannot.
So, credit cards, I don't know what their thinking is, you know, and I get offers all the time with credit cards and stuff, and mortgages is, it kind of, what I agree with this one, what this person is saying is, a house is security, you know, they have an asset. A credit card is unsecured.
Correct.
So it makes sense in one way. Why would they keep offering, you know, credit cards, unsecured credit cards, when you won't offer a secured loan for a house? Other than the amount for the house could be $300,000, and a credit card could be $5,000.
Right. Yeah. It's you know, and I always notice too that the credit card offers seem to show up more. The worse the economy gets, the more credit card offers.
Right.
Show
and
up.
at the beginning there's 0%, and then you know, then they'll be like 28%. So
30%.
I kind of don't agree with this one on the age part, because I don't see a bank discriminating on age.
Yeah, I don't. There might be a little bit more to that one. Who knows? All right. So let's see here. My partner and I have been together for 7 years, and we're both in graduate school. So apartment living is best for us right now. We get to relocate to different cities without feeling tied down to a specific location, especially when it's so expensive to buy a home. It's nearly impossible. That comes from Eli in California. And I agree with that. And if you're at that point in your life, sounds like, you know, they're in grad school, so maybe they're a little younger and it's kind of more of a first time. And they're enjoying that freedom and maybe spreading their wings from not living, you know, at their parents' house. And they don't know exactly where they want to live. So I agree. I think that's probably smart.
I think if you don't know, you know, where you want to live, why commit to a mortgage or a house that you potentially can't sell or you'll lose money if the economy turns south.
Right. And at this point in their life, they want the freedom to go everywhere and do what they want to do and explore new cities and areas.
All right, this person, it's lack of availability homes. Honestly, I have the down payment. I'm pre-approved for a loan. I feel like it's a mad dash to be 2 or 3 groups of people that have joined up and formed a landlord business in my town. So basically they're saying that the investors are going in and, you know, just buying over. Yeah.
Yep.
They compete with each other, so it's tough as a person just wanting to buy a single home for my husband and me. I don't want to have a check home buying app every morning obsessively and answer calls from realtors immediately asking or risk of losing out on the property. So basically the person's saying, you know what, they don't want to join the rat race because the investors are coming in.
I get it. That's you know, maybe that specific area in general, that's not the norm. They're just kind of targeting, maybe they're in an area that's gentrifying a little bit, you know, or it's it's a hot market right now, and, you know, or a heating up market where the investors can still make some money, whatever the motivation is for the investor. But at the end of the day, I get it if they don't want to compete against it, but if that's the way you feel about it, no matter where you are in the country, it doesn't matter. You're just not ready to join the rat race because you just don't have the drive to, and I don't recommend anybody.
No, if you don't have the
if
drive,
you're not ready to go, then don't do it. It's no big deal.
Listen, with this market, even with prices going down or listings going up, the amount of listings, if there's a gem that shows up on the market, priced good condition, you're gonna have competition.
Right. You've always had competition. So don't. What I don't want people to think is that because we're getting back to normal and real estate is a little bit more forefront and sensationalized now, you know, over the last 5-8 years or so, that was anything different than what we experienced before. A well-priced home, a good home, a gem, as you said,
you
gets more attention.
You can have 20 turds that nobody's looking at, and then one gem shows up.
Right.
And then, believe me, just like you're waking up in the morning, looking at MLS or whatever you're looking at, Zillow, they're doing the same thing. And if a gem shows up, price good, beautiful, good, great location, you're gonna have competition. I don't care what the market is. I don't care if the market is down. I don't care.
Right.
A gem is a gem.
A gem is a gem. All right, so here's talking about the cost of maintenance. In my current apartment, most repairs are free unless you willfully cause significant damage. But I would have to do those things either myself or pay someone else to do them if I own the house. I've watched my parents spend over $20K in the last year alone on sudden necessary repairs to their home that's getting older. I'd rather have the peace of mind knowing that it's not coming out of my pocket than have to worry about planning for huge repairs like that.
True statement, okay? If you're not into repairs, I don't care if the house is new, old, there's money always going into it.
Correct.
Okay, water heater breaks, an air conditioner breaks, washer and dryer, dishwasher. Things break. Okay, the roof is getting old, it has to be replaced.
Yep.
Nobody's gonna come in and say, okay, I'm gonna replace it for you, you know? But at the same time, landlords, you know, they factor all that stuff in. They're not going to rent the home at a loss.
Right.
People don't realize that.
No, you're still paying for it little by little. So look at it like this. If you're renting, and part of when we do a budget for the properties that I help list or manage, we write a budget in there that a certain amount of money is for repairs we know that the roof has only got 10 years left. So we have to replace it in 10 years. So we figure out how much they're gonna have to put away so that they have the money coming out of the rent to pay for that. And you should be doing the same thing at your house. Yeah. So it's not some big expense, because at the end it's all the same amount of money, but where the renters are not getting the advantages. A, they don't get the tax advantage, and B, they're also not building the wealth and the equity gain. Just because you had to spend 20 grand on a roof, as an example, doesn't mean that that negates your equity.
Let's see what this person says. The market decided to delay my search for me. The cutthroat market and the fact that wanting an inspection will likely cost you the house, because the seller will just go with someone who's willing to do without an inspection. Means no house for me. Why anyone would risk buying a house without inspection blows my mind. Blows my mind too, but...
Mine too.
Okay, during the peak, during the pandemic, when everybody was buying, a lot of people were waiving inspection.
Yes.
I'm a home inspector. Trust me, they were waiving it. A lot of them regret it now big time. So I agree with 100%. But what I disagree with this one as of now, I don't know when you wrote this, or the person who wrote this, the problem is that's not happening anymore.
Right. Yeah, they're maybe shorter inspection periods, but they're still getting inspections.
Literally, I'm busier now than I was during the peak because people were waiving inspections.
Right.
So now that nobody's waiving it, I'm busier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense.
So, yeah, I think back then this statement was true. People were waiving it, and a lot of buyers would go with the person that wasn't asking for an inspection, but I think that's gone now.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen a house come in where they waived inspections in a really long time. All right, so this one is, life right now is too unpredictable, especially financially. I want to buy a home, but the thought of my roof leaking or needing to pay for repairs gives me anxiety. Paying rent is useless in the long run, but it gives me temporary financial relief and stability. I'd like that if my faucet stops or my AC is broken, you don't have to take it out of, you know, your pocket. It comes from their rent. I love knowing how much my bills are going to be each month without running into any financial surprises. I agree wholeheartedly. That's where you always have that balancing act when you're renting. You know, you've got that, it's fine, it's consistent, you know what it's going to be every month, you kind of know that you're going to go up a little bit each year, and it's just worry free, and there's something to be said about that. So I don't disagree, and what I do agree also with is everything is too unpredictable right now. So
it is unpredictable.
It's hard. Like, you don't know when your next job is, or if you may get laid off, depending on your industry. And if things are a little too unpredictable, stability is nice in your life, you know? And so I agree with this 100%.
All right, yeah, me too. No matter how much I save for a down payment, it will never be enough to make any kind of dent in the monthly housing payment. It's taken me 10 years to save $50,000, and it's a drop in the bucket compared to housing prices in my area. With the median cost is over $500,000, my partner and I have elderly parents here and a job that doesn't transfer well. So moving across the country isn't feasible either. I agree.
Yep, I agree too.
100%. I don't even know what to add to that one, because if it takes you 10 years to save $50,000, $50,000 is not, it's nothing on today's housing prices.
Correct.
So if your mortgage payment, you know, if you're buying a $400,000 house and you put $50,000 down, by the time you pay closing costs and everything else, your payment's still going to be extremely high.
Right.
The days of low mortgage payments is going to be, you know.
Right, everything is up. It's just the way it is. Okay, so this is from, and finally. If I think about it too long, it's depressing and soul-crushing. My husband and I are in our 30s, have stable employment, and as a whole, we bring in comfortable household income. Yet we will never have the luxury of calling ourselves homeowners. We work hard and are doing our best to give our son a great childhood, but I'm saddened that something as simple as a yard to play in or being part of a neighborhood of kids will be a long road. Where we live, the average home price is nearly $500,000, and there's a ton of competition as our area expands with more and more companies moving here. Since we've never owned a home, it's not like we can just pull past home sale past home sale profits to go towards our down payment, closing costs, or renovations. Therefore, we just can't compete. Gone are the days of picking up a reasonable family home with an average income. Affordable housing is no more, but cheers to the American dream.
All right, you know what? There's like another 15 of them. We won't even go into those, but here's my opinion on it. all right, it's extremely difficult to buy a house these days.
It is.
It is. I'm not sugarcoating it, nothing. The people that are buying houses are people that are selling houses, taking the equity from those houses and buying other houses.
Right, which is the whole point, is you build some equity in the house, even though you have to spend some money to repair the house. The money that you're putting in is going towards something.
Right, and or the parents are helping out the kids.
Correct. Yep. Yep, we see that a lot.
So people that don't have a house to sell to take the equity and buy another house, or have parents to give them money or another source, or don't make a whole lot of money, you know, they're gonna have a hard time.
Where we're finding success though in this is that people have to make concessions on what they buy for their first home or where they live for their first home. And we've done some videos on that where, you know, you may have to move out of the exact area you want to be in. I get it, like particularly with this person's article, you know, they have children, so they're probably somewhat geographically restrained because of school zones. But you know, you may have to change. Instead of a house, you may have to get a townhouse, then build some equity, sell the townhouse, and move into a single family home, things like that.
Yeah, you know, it's a long pace. Like me, if I wanted to buy a certain house that I like, I would definitely have to sell my house. But that you know, that makes it easier. But my kids, like Christian, like he was saying today, he's like, "Hey, Dad, could I take one of the piece of properties and build a house?" You know?
Oh yeah, Dad, just give me.
Yeah, build a house. What do you guys think? Do you think the dream of home ownership is gone? Really curious what you guys think. And thank you for everybody that shared their stories in this article. It's greatly appreciated. And we will talk to you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out the channel.
See you on the next one. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.